Okay, so what we got here is this is a project I've been working on for about a decade now. I work on it on and off. This one's a 1918 Heider Model C 1220. The serial number on this one, I don't know how well the camera's going to pick that up. It's not the greatest, but the serial number is 6323 on this one. And the motor number does match the serial number. The mag unfortunately does not. The mag is actually off another Heider tractor. So far I bought parts piles of 5 of these tractors. 4 were the 1220s, 1 was the 1527. I have since sold the 1527 off to another guy who's going to try to piece it together. But this one's now, with the castings I have, the last few little castings, I think I have about 99% of it. The rad, from what I've been told, is a newer rad, because originally it should have a honeycomb style rad. I believe it's a prefix rad. This rad, if you can zoom in down here, is for the Chicago manufacturing company, Chicago, Illinois. I've seen the Heiders, the early ones, with this rad. I don't know if it was an aftermarket rad, or not aftermarket, a replacement rad later on. These tractors seem to be very good in the province of Manitoba. Around even my area, north, we've been to a couple auctions. These have been taken apart because they're all bolted together. There's no rivets on them. So people took them apart and used them for other things. We found 2 of them. Actually, all that was left was just over here on the side here. They make log splitters out of them. We have a good spot right here to put a flywheel in, and actually we found 2 of them. We never did purchase them, but they made log splitters out of them. You can see here, this one's kind of a various states of disarray. When I got it, I'll show pictures of it at the end here. It was all taken apart in pieces. Like I said, it's all bolted together. Every one I kind of bought had different pieces here, there, and kind of everywhere on it. On this part of the frame is original. One side rail is original. One is off another one. Like the crossbar is up or off another one. But like I said, this one's the earlier style. According to the book, I think it's 6700 serial number. They made a lot of changes. They changed the platform from a sunken platform to the platform up the top. Went to a larger steering wheel. The handle went from like a pistol grip style to a bent over style. Lots of little changes they made here and there. The differential, I know they changed a little bit later on. This one it's a goofy differential. You can't really see because the leaves and shit are in here. But it had like a 4 and 8 year differential. After, I want to say it was in the serial numbers in the 8000 somewhere, they went to a conventional 3 spider gear differential. It's a kind of a unique tractor, no transmission. They got a plate in the back there, but it's just basically the 2 plates sit here. You have the flywheel, which is just sitting underneath here at the moment. Has kind of like masonite, I guess, a friction material. It runs against there and turns your differential, which in turn turns your bow gear and turns your rear wheels. To change speeds on it, there is no transmission. You just move your engine backwards and forward. I'll get up on the tractor here and just show how that works. You can see, if you everything's a little bit looser right now. The rad's not too well supported, so I don't do it too much, but you can see it actually does slide back and forth. You do have a segment here with seven notches. So they said it was infinitely variable, but really not so much. You have that. You have your shifter here to move the gear in and out to disengage your differential. And then this one here, as your friction just wears on, moves over, because what it does is it catches. That guy there actually bolts on. It's off right now because it bolts onto your fender, but it would sit somewhere around here. And as your friction material wears, it allows you to move it a little bit more forward. What else? It actually runs in ball bearings here. They're a 6311 ball bearing. And the shaft actually slides back and forth in the shaft. On the unworn part, it seemed to be about a thou loose. Like I said, one we got was torched off, so I just ended up making new shafts for these. But yeah, it moves back and forth. And then on this side is the pulley. That side you could put a pulley on, but all I've ever seen is always has the pulley on this side. What else on these guys? This is actually the wrong set of wheels and bowl gears on this tractor. This tractor must have been used an awful lot because the bowl gears were quite badly worn. This bowl gears are in really nice shape. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll keep the bowl gears and I'll switch the tires, because these are, you can see, are riveted spokes. The earlier ones had bolted in spokes. They're just basically just a long bolt that went in and bolted them in. I don't know when they switched that, but that's these are not the original tires. I have the original tires. They're just sitting out at the farm there. One of these years I'll get around to switching them over. What else? This one, all the ones I've picked up have never had the original carburetor. They're supposed to have a Kingston, I think it's a 4-ball carburetor. Everyone has had a Kingston, the Kingston L3s, the newer style. Like this is the carburetor here. This one was off another engine that I had bought. Like I said, whenever I kind of get pieces and parts for these things, I try to buy them because it's just, you never know what you find. Just kind of an array of other parts and pieces off other Waukeshas and Heider stuff I bought over the years. This one, like I said, did a lot of work. When I got it, maybe I shouldn't have, but I actually changed the whole. These are all new spindles in here. They've been sitting outside for a couple of years, but that's all new spindles. We bored and bushed the wheels. That's all new. On this, these were all bent to shit, so we made new ones of these. Like all of them, I've seen almost all of them. The spring pad is broken here. I just made it out of steel. I still have the original ones, but they were all smashed bad. Like I said, on these ones, everything unbolted, so all this stuff was either bent so badly or unbolted and gone, so we just made all new stuff. Even the bracket here for changing the motor in and out, it was badly worn. It actually almost had worn through one of them, so we made up these new brackets here. Someone did try, because later on they put, in an effort I guess maybe to move, so stuff doesn't move as much, they actually put another 2 set of bolts here on like a 1527. You can see has torched them into this one, but they never torched them into here. Why, I don't know. What else is there? Like I said, I have the fenders for this. This one's actually in fairly, well, not too bad a shape. The other ones I have are probably slightly better. Like I said, that one bracket bolts. Where is it bolt? Because there's your toolbox mounting there, and your fender mounts on here. But I said, like, I do have a better set of fenders for this, and we'll have to redo the wood on it. I'm probably going to use ash. From a couple of guys I've talked to, that's what I think they use as ash. On this, we redid this. It's kind of a goofy setup because it actually holds the weight of the rad. It's just a piece of steel here, and it has 2 rivets on both sides. And everyone I've seen has been basically kind of shot, I guess, over the vibrations and that over the years. Like here's what it kind of looks like. You can see someone's tried soldering this one at one time and they've gas welded it, and this is supposed to be 4 inches and they put a 3-inch one in, and so I said we did away with all that. Went to the new ones, that way hopefully less headaches. And then on this, it is a kerosene tractor. It's designed to start on gas and then run to kerosene. Here's the, you can see it's broken. I've got to put a new piece of wood in. But you have that's magneto, throttle, and then you have your water control valve down here. What it does is it opens up your guy right here to let the water in, and then it goes into your manifold. Because the tanks actually, it only has 2 tanks. The one tank is divided. You have a full kerosene tank and then a half gasoline, half kerosene tank. These tractors did have canopies on them. I'll probably end up putting a canopy on it. A goofy thing is the steering wheel's so small on these things, they did switch them later on. And it's a little bit of a bitch to turn these things with such a small wheel. But it does have automotive steering on it. It's not the old chain style. And we're making headway on the Waukesha stuff here. This is what we're actually doing because all these I've got have been seized, so they all need to be bored out, and all the pistons are bad. So we actually, it's in the foundry right now. It's supposed to be done the next week or 2. We actually 3D printed one pattern one, and we're going to try putting an oil ring in it. If it works out good, then we'll hopefully have that done sooner than later. The water pump has been all apart, made a new shaft. It's been sitting outside, a little bit rusty. It's just because the mag seized right now. The mag is the original mag, but unfortunately it's been left apart. This one's done, but it's just a Dixie 44. The one thing about these is, even if you look on the tag here, they say it's a 4.5-inch bore. I've bought the bones of 7 of these motors now, and 4 of them have 4 3/4 bores like the Waukesha P jugs. This is all Heiders are supposed to have. The 1220 are supposed to all have an M, Waukesha M, which is a 4.5-inch bore engine. The P's, from what I've basically been told, are the same with the exception of the jug size. Everything else is the same. But like I said, I don't know if that was a factory deal or upgraded, because they said they sold a lot of these in my area. I don't know if people kept running them. This one supposedly ran into the 40s. The man I bought this off of, Bob Anderson, he's passed away. He actually had the remnants of 2 of these. This one came from a yard about 10 miles outside of his place there, because his dad had bought one new. He said after the war, so what year? It'd be 18, 19, 20, what, I don't know. And he drove it home from Prairie to McGregor, and unfortunately got scrapped during the war, so he picked this one up. But this one had done an awful lot of work. They did a lot of miles on this one. But we weren't able to, when we went to the original farm, it came out of the family. Nobody, it was all younger people, nobody had any clue about it anymore. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at on that. The motor, hopefully, like I said, if it works out good, we'll do the pistons up. But it is the later Waukesha. I'll move my piece of wood here. It is the casting number, where is it here? Is a 1920D. The earlier ones have a 1920B. And they are slightly different, the blocks, or the crankcases, I should say. But the serial number does match the plate, so this is the original engine from this tractor. Like I said, I don't know if you can see on the back here, it's 38429. I don't know if you can pick that up very well with the sun. The same as the plate here, 38429. But unfortunately, the mag is not the original mag. This mag was off another Heider tractor. I'm trying to think what else. We made new pinions for it, because I said the pinions were badly worn out. For whatever reason, that one shaft was gone, so I just made new pinions. I'm trying to think what else, but yeah, that's probably it for now. Like I said, I do have a buddy had one of these, the bones of one, and he's not gonna do it there, so he had a rad for a pattern. So we're going to. It came from Alberta. It's actually one of my buddies brought it down there, so it should be here. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. Years when I started, I put all these tapered washers on, because originally just bent the bolts over. I don't honestly know if I'm going to keep it or go back just putting bolts and bend them over. But yeah, I'll post some pictures of kind of the parts pile we got this in, and hopefully the next couple of years it runs. I don't work on it very often, but every once in a while we kind of kick it out of the shop and just put it back here, just so it's kind of out of the way at the moment. But when I get really ambitious, I will probably take the rad in though, and unfortunately I think it's gonna have to re-record. But that's about her in a nutshell there. Like I said, you'll probably see this from time to time in videos. Like I said, it's not going to be a regular thing. Like I said, I just kind of, once in a while, work on a little bit here and a little bit there and plug away at it. But yeah, that'll be it for now, I think. Okay, just to show here, I threw her together here is just how the kind of the friction drive and the sliding shaft works. It's a little bit goofy. There's one of the friction discs there, so that would sit right here. So it would obviously sit this way. Your flywheel sits this way. As it turns here, the flywheel turns the friction disc turns your shaft. Now the shaft has two purposes. It's designed to slide in the bearings, because these both have ball bearings in them, and it's designed to slide in there. And then also, here's your input shaft that either puts you into neutral or into to engage your rear wheels. It slides in here. Here's your slide here. Slides in. You can see I'm not going to turn the diff too much, a little bit tight, but then you go back there, and then you're into neutral. There's the lock up on your piece of wood here. There's a cast iron lock that locks it either into neutral or to drive, because you don't have your forward or reverse is controlled by this, not that. A little bit of a goofy setup, but yeah, that's basically how it works. All this has got to come apart, get all cleaned. Yeah, so if you like what you see, please like, and subscribe. This is going to be an ongoing project. I'd like to hopefully maybe get it running in a couple of years. We'll see how it goes. I put her around on here or there. But yeah. And also just a quick shout out to Greg, and I cannot pronounce his last name, from north of Winnipeg there. He dropped off a micrometer a couple weeks ago. It was very nice of him. He's one of our earlier subscribers and a very nice fellow. And that's it for now.